Our next contestants are Amelia Hatch and Ella Pham from the International School of Luxembourg. They will present their project called Food Fraud, Adulterated Milk in Luxembourg. The question they will seek to answer is, are there discrepancies in the safety of milk commonly found in local stores, and what are the potential effects on consumers? I'm excited to hear the answer. Let's hear it from them right now.
Hi, I'm Amelia.
And I'm Ella.
And for our investigation, we looked into food fraud, specifically milk adulteration in Luxembourg. So food fraud occurs when a food supplier adds undisclosed substances to a product, either out of negligence, malice, or economic greed. It is a global issue and has serious effects on consumers' health. We decided to investigate this topic not only because we are very interested in it, but because we believe consumers are not adequately aware of the dangers it poses. Although there is a variety of legislation and regulations in Luxembourg to prevent this from happening, it is still a prevalent problem. In fact, it accounts for 8 to 12 billion euros of damages yearly. A specific example of this occurred in 2013 when horse meat was found in frozen foods advertised to contain 100% beef. Although this may not seem like a harmful substance to add, many people have a cultural aversion to eating it. Even substances added such as sugar can have detrimental effects for diabetics if they're unknowingly consuming it. For these reasons, it is very important for food to be highly regulated in order to keep consumers safe. So we decided to test milk because it is one of the most commonly adulterated foods and substances which can be added to it are formalin, urea, starch, and soap. And these substances can be very harmful to people's health when consumed daily, such as in milk. Before starting our investigation, we realized that it was likely most of our tests would come back negative due to Luxembourg's safe regulations. However, we still decided to test milk because it is so frequently consumed by many. Through further research, we also realized that the substances added to milk are one of the most harmful to consumers. So formalin is one of the adulterants which can be added to milk, and it's added to prolong its shelf life. However, it can corrode and irritate the digestive system, and in extreme cases, it can lead to cancer. Urea can occur naturally in milk, however, producers can also add it in order to increase the solid non-fat percentage, a way of testing the quality of milk. If consumed in large quantities, it can overburden and damage the kidneys. Starch is added for similar reasons, and while it may not seem as toxic to consumers, prolonged consumption can cause diarrhea, and it can also have serious complications for diabetics because it increases their blood glucose levels above a safe range. And lastly, soap is added to milk in order to improve its appearance and give it a thick, foamy consistency, and can cause gastrointestinal complications such as gastritis or inflammation of the intestine.
So our first steps were developing an investigation into adulterated milk in Luxembourg. We started by collecting 12 different milk brands found locally in grocery stores around the country. And then we got into developing different chemical tests to look for all of these different adulterations that can happen. We use sulfuric acid to test for formalin. We use urease and bromithiamyl blue solution to test for urea. We use iodine to test for starch, and phenolphthalein indicator to test for soap. While we were carrying out these investigations, we paid high attention to health and safety requirements and also our ethical and environmental burdens. We used gloves, goggles, and anti-burn procedures to keep us safe while we carried out these chemical tests, and to limit our waste and to limit the negative effect that we had on the environment, we donated the large amounts of leftover milk to our science lab at our school and utilized materials that we had nearby. So, as my partner said earlier, we had already hypothesized that many of the results from these tests would be negative, a sign of the high standards and vigilance that the European Union has for consumable goods for us living in Europe. In concluding our investigation, we found that was mostly true. In testing for all of these different substances, we found that in a large quantity of the different milks, there was the presence of urea. So to confirm these results, we carried out a second trial to test for urea and found that of the 12 brands, brand number 2 and 12 were consistently positive, and brands number 4 and 11 were consistently negative. In spite of these good results and the relative consistency of it, we were still unhappy with the accuracy of our investigation. We found that it was corrupted by the qualitative nature of all of these tests that we carried out and the limited number of trials that we had. In an ideal world, we would have a better investigation by employing DNA methods to test for adulterations in milk and perhaps other foods. We would use PCR and DNA sequencing to test for these for a better accuracy, and we would have more trials. Despite the lack of confidence we may have in the inherent accuracy of our tests, we feel that it's a good representation of the safety that we have in our consumable goods here in Luxembourg and in Europe. Taking it forward, we would want to improve our investigation in the ways that we said before, because food fraud is something that's relatively unknown and an undetected global phenomenon that affects the health and safety of everyone. This phenomenon of food fraud and food adulteration has only been increased by the pandemic, which makes it harder for governments and regulatory bodies to screen and search for substandard food products. In all, we would really want to help move forward and help protect the health and safety of everyone, not only in Luxembourg and in Europe, but worldwide. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So after your presentation, we will ask you a couple of questions to get to know more about your project and you in person. First of all, to start, how did you get the idea to start your project?
I don't know, we were just researching ideas and we came across food fraud and it sounded really interesting and an issue we hadn't heard about before, so we just wanted to investigate it further.
Were there like surprises which you came across during your work on the project?
Yeah, we found some statistics that were surprising. We thought it was more of an issue in other countries, not so much Europe, but realized that it is, and it's hard to control.
Can you give examples?
Yeah, so especially since COVID, it's been harder because for officials to like supervise what comes in and out of the country. So they found like lots of food that's been smuggled or adulterated.
Yeah, I think in 2020 there was about 320 tons of smuggled dairy products just in the EU alone. So the extent of it is quite surprising. Yeah.
Looking into the topic in a bit of a broader way now, milk is one thing, but generally, do you think that processed food that we get in the supermarkets is that sustainable and healthy enough? Now, having looked into the topic in more detail?
Especially here in Europe, in the EU, I think it's pretty much safe wherever you go. When you start to go into countries that don't have as strict or as vigilant rules about the agri-food industry and how foods are processed and distributed, then I think it's a bit more worrying, the extent of the problem. But for here, I think it's quite safe.
And then when working as a team, the two of you, did that go smoothly? Was that a good experience for you?
Yeah. I think it's harder to be able to find the times to schedule experiments in the lab at school, but otherwise
I think it worked out pretty well.
Did you distribute the roles, as in one doing a specific type of work and the other one doing another type of work, or did you both do more or less the same?
I think we both helped out with everything, but she likes the science a little bit more, and I like doing the research and reading a little bit more, so we kind of distributed about that way.
And then in terms of doing the actual experiment, there were multiple tests performed, so we each kind of
Helped out
two.
in our way.
Looking into your personal career or future projects, would would that be an area you'd like to further explore in the future, or also consider for your studies?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm really interested in like the government and law, and I'm heading off to university next year, so hopefully I can take this with me and learn more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely interested in biology. I'm more interested in medicine, and so how food affects humans' health is very important topic.
Great. Then, yeah, we thank you for now. And we wish you all the best then for tomorrow. Congratulations again for your presentation, your study, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.